Welcome back to Peteys Peds. Today's episode we have the Vick Audio Lucky 13. This is a modern sounding one knob fuzz. So it's based on the Color Sound one knob fuzz. This is a discontinued pedal, but they are an awesome fuzz circuit that really doesn't have a downside to it. These are just a fantastic circuit. We're going to be taking a look at this, and I also have a couple of demos that I'm going to play for you. I have a demo where I played different guitars into it and played along to a jam track, played a song, so it's like a four different tracks. There's a bass that I ran through it, pretty much run everything through it except for the drums. And then there's another more produced song that I did in a more of a home studio type of a idea, where instead of laying down the tracks live like I did in the first video, you'll see this is more of a produced sound, and they both sound just fantastic. In the second demo, the more produced one that has the film footage, I'm using a guitar that has a sustainer system, and you can hear that used in the demo, which simulates feedback. So let's take a look over at this auction that has ended on reverb.com. It's saying here that Vick Audio is from Gilbert, Arizona. That's Mike Vickery. Gilbert, Arizona has this company called Vick Audio, and they're still around, although let's take a look and see what do they actually carry. Vick Audio, handcrafted big muff. So they got a 73, a violet ram set, a black Russian, and a V1 triangle. So yeah, he's kind of fallen off into, but he still offers this Tree of Life as just a wonderful circuit. I've got one of those, and I really like that. So we'll be doing that one coming up further down the road. That's my favorite demo that I made for Vick. If you can't wait and you want a sneak peek, listen to a video. I believe it's the last video that I uploaded to this channel. It's called The Bassline, and that is a humbucker based pickup with a coil tap, coil switch set to single coil mode in the neck position, with the tone opened up, played through that Tree of Life pedal, and it was a real goofy bass line, for lack of a better word. It didn't repeat itself very often, and I just really was proud of it. And I rendered just the bass track, and I thought I'll put that up sometime. So that's actually up on my channel now. We can also see this Mount Pleasant and the Color Sound overdriver. The Mount Pleasant is a Marshall Blues Breaker, so he's got some overdrives, and then as far as the other stuff, he's got a compressor, this thing called the hypo center delay. Now, Vick Audio came up around 2012, around there, 2013. Reverb.com named them their pedal builder of the year, and he has a reputation, Vick Audio has a reputation for doing it right. Now, we're going to take a look inside of this pedal. Forgive me for doing this on camera, but I want to take a look and see if we can look at what type of transistor that he used. It's not, I really would be surprised if it's a germanium transistor, because in the text, going back to here we go, going back to the Reverb auction, one of the selling points states that it's a modern sounding And, oh, yeah, it is silicone. It says right on the front of the pedal. How do you like that? So taking a look here, I'm going to have to use my flashlight. Let's spy on his work and see what BC 549. So yeah, there you go. As you can see, that's the circuit board on the bottom, and then on the top is the switching board. And he's using this polycarbonate, the multi-layer capacitors, which I really like those. I think it was Mike that turned me on to an auction where you can get an assortment of those. And what I like about them is their size. When I first started building pedals, I used a lot of the Mylar, the greeny capacitors, and those are affordable, but they're also huge, especially compared to the multi-layer. I believe they're ceramic, and there's no polarity on those capacitors, and they're mid to low value. I mean, when you get into the ridiculously low values, you're going to want to go for, what do you call those? You know, the pink-shaped wafer disc ones. The really, really ridiculously low. So that was one of the things that I picked up from Mike. And let's take a look over and read what the auction quote is. It says, the Lucky 13 is an exceptional smooth fuzz with thunderous lows and lots of singing sustain. It's great for banging out woolly rhythms with its heavy dynamic fuzz tone while retaining enough clarity to do lead work. The Lucky 13 sets itself apart from other fuzzes with its smooth, saturated tone and natural sounding decaying breakup. I would also say that it's high gain and it's not noisy. So that's the thing. A lot of times when I would make the one knob fuzz, it would be really noisy, where this didn't really have much background interference noise. Based on the color sound fuzz circuit designed in the 60s, with higher gain, a smoother tone, and a more modern voicing. So very cool. I would love to take a look at his circuit and figure out exactly what he did and utilize those tricks in further modification of fuzz pedals. Unfortunately, that's not the scope of this video. I'll just tell you that if you run across one of these, grab it up, because it's just an awesome one knob fuzz clone. And it's a lot different than the one knob fuzz, because every time I tried building one of those, I always ended up regretting it because of the noise level. So if you're looking for a unique signature fuzz tone, give the Lucky 13 a try. Boy, they're not kidding, because it is unique. So that being said, all of Vick audio stuff is real deal, high quality, 3P DT true bypass audio switch, new trick jacks, hand wired boutique quality, made in the United States, powder coated aluminum enclosure, 2.1 mil Boss style power jack. No room for an internal 9-volt battery. And that's one thing that a lot of people who have never bought a boutique pedal don't consider, is with the chassis being this small and using this mega giant true bypass switch, there is no room inside. This is an MXR size, I would call it. There just simply is no room to put a 9-volt battery in here. And it's not the end of the world. They sell these little clips that have a 2.1 mil DC jack connected to a 9-volt clip. You can make your own, or even Velcro a battery on top of it. Use a piece of Velcro and then run that wire down, have that wire custom cut for the right length if you're just insistent on running batteries on it. Or do what everyone else does and run a power supply. So the Vick Audio Lucky 13 is one of the, I believe this may have even been the first pedal that he sent to me to demo. And I ended up doing 2 demos. I forget what the reasoning behind that was. It was something was up, and I didn't want to. I really wanted to make a good impression. So while I was waiting, I think maybe the first one that I had received had some issues with the finish, that he had packed it while the paint was still wet, and when I removed it, it just looked awful, and I would not be able to use my own photographic technique that I wanted to use in the demo. So I mentioned it to him. I said, if you don't care, I'll keep it. Just supply me with photos. And he wanted to make a good impression on me, so he said, no, I'm going to send you another one. So in the meantime, I made a quick demo, and that's what we're going to see first. The second demo is the extended version 1, where I use, because it has a lovely little black cat, Lucky 13, on the image of the pedal. So we will see the second video features our everyone's old friend Augustus the Black Cat. Rest in peace, Augustus.